I'm pleased to be joined on this episode by the one and only Chris Bushi, who has found a way to make the most of his time during COVID here over the course of the past year or so, staying busy, starting the South African Lacrosse Association. And I want to talk to Chris a little bit about last season in Halifax, the inaugural season, and then the return to play, which should be happening in November, which we're all looking forward to. So, Chris, welcome to the show here. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thanks a lot for having me. I'm glad to be on here.
Chris, I didn't want to, ruin anything before because we have a little bit of a chance to chat with one another before we actually come on here. But you and I think this is the first time we've actually spoken. We have something in common. We're both graduates of Queen's University in Kingston.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. When were you out there?
I graduated in 2011. So I think you were what, 2018?
2019. Yeah, I just started high
2019.
school in 2011.
Gotcha. Crazy. Well, again, thanks for joining us. I did want to talk to you all about the South African Lacrosse Association, which you've started up here over the course of the past year. And really impressive what you've done. I just wanted to know a little bit about the genesis of the project and kind of what maybe encouraged you to start everything up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a whirlwind, I guess, since I had a lot of time, as everyone else did, to think and sit with your own thoughts in that first kind of lockdown. Obviously, missing the game quite a lot. Even then, when it was just felt like it was ripped out of your hands a bit. Feels the same now, but nonetheless, I kind of decided I wanted to try something, make use of my time. I had mentioned in that interview I did with Devin quite a bit ago when I first kind of started tinkering around about it and just kind of getting the ideas thrown out there that, it was because my dad, growing up in South Africa, he grew up in Canada, but I grew up a little bit in South Africa, and he was playing for the international ice hockey team. So I have pictures all around my house of him wearing that South African flag, and I just thought it'd be something that I love the game of lacrosse. I have this weird, even though I was born there and only lived there for 4 years, I have this weird connection to the country, and it's a beautiful country and a beautiful place. They love their sport, so I thought, why not maybe give it a go and see if something sticks over there.
So you've started up a GoFundMe for the project, which you've raised a little over $1,300. And where can people go to find that and kind of donate and give back to the project? I saw you had a goal of $5,000.
Yeah. So our initial goal of $5,000 is initially going to cost just for the cost of getting some sticks and initial kind of jerseys and player packages over to the Boys and Girls Club of South Africa in Johannesburg. That's a nonprofit that runs out of the inner city there that has about 2,000 kids. Been in contact with the president. His name's Mike, and he really has been keen to get lacrosse going there. So all my social media, my Twitter at Bush_18. You can find the GoFundMe link there, or in my bio on my Instagram at Chris Bushi. Lucky enough for me, I have a lot of great people around me in the lacrosse world. They're going to help me bolster my social media for the association quite soon, as well as some website stuff coming in the next 2 weeks.
So you hope to be playing in the World Championships in about 5 years from now. But beyond that, what are the goals for the project?
I mean, like getting kids to play in general is something that I think is very important. And I mean, anybody who kind of wants to grow a sport, not just lacrosse, will tell you that yeah, it's great when you want to have people represent the country, but it has to start from really good, sustainable grassroots development programs. So I think what's important for me going forward is to really think critically on how to get sticks in hands down there, but keep sticks in hands, without having all the other, socioeconomic divides that come at play when you start growing something, especially in a country like South Africa. There's such a diverse group of people in all different social classes, racial racial backgrounds. It all comes into effect once things get a little bit too big for their britches. So really having a good, solid idea in mind on how to keep things perfectly at the grassroots level and help it grow from there.
Now, I would imagine that the fact that you can't actually get to South Africa right now would prove to be a bit of a roadblock. But are there any other roadblocks that you might have encountered so far that have just kind of been tough to get around, and maybe you need some assistance with?
Well, I mean, for one, call a spade a spade. Yeah, I can't get over there anytime soon. I mean, with regards to the pandemic, it's gotten quite bad over there. Obviously, having a job over here, it's quite difficult to take the time off where you want to be able to stay there for a month and not only just your 2 week vacation that you get. So that's a roadblock. I do have some great people down there that are a part of the association that have played lacrosse, played at university levels out in the UK, but now live in South Africa. So they're very, very comfortable taking the reins where they can down there. Some other roadblocks that I could think of initially also is shipping. It's very expensive to ship things down there. So I've kind of
Mhm.
had to go around get around some loopholes with regards to anybody manufacturing stuff down there, that I could maybe get some jerseys done down there so I don't have to ship them from over here. But nonetheless, lacrosse sticks primarily are gonna be coming from over here. So that's a huge roadblock, not undoable, but it's very possible for me to kind of work around them.
Yeah, I mean, you've done a great job at working around them. I mean, you have been quite resilient. You've managed to use technology to kind of connect with lots of people out there. I saw you got in touch with your director of finance. It was over Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, so my dad had some contacts from South Africa in the sports world down there because he played for their world championship hockey team for multiple tournaments and then coached their U18s for a bit. So he had some contacts. One of his friends in the hockey community, his son runs the hockey programs out of Pretoria, ice hockey programs.
Mhm.
They say field hockey over there. They just call that hockey. But he was kind enough to hop on board as my director of development because he's helped develop hockey down there. He knows the ins and outs of some obscure sport in a new country that can help make things a bit better for me. And yeah, and the rest, yeah, everything else has been through Zoom. There's been about three people that I haven't actually everybody I haven't met physically, but three people have been a part of the South African Lacrosse Project, which was an initiative that was run down there for 10 years, helping kids play lacrosse up in the northern region of the Valwater in Limpopo. So there's a whole lacrosse program there right now, thanks to these guys, and they've now been kind enough to hop on my mission and kind of turn that into a grassroots program.
So what was it? I know that lacrosse in South Africa, they've made attempts before in the past. What was it that stopped it kind of back then?
Um, I think the way the South African lacrosse project went, it was just a passion project. It was more around charity for children, and the lacrosse was kind of secondary. So naturally, the two brothers, Kip and Harrison Hart, and their mother, out of Towson, they started it, and
Mhm.
it was just time for them to hang it up, and with respect to them. I think people get older. They were kind of entering their mid 20s, late 20s, and they have to settle down. And it's just a great thing that they started. And I think that it allowed me to actually build off of what they were able to do. I have that connection to South Africa, so it's nice, and it was nice of them to help me through the beginning stages. I've been speaking with them, I guess, through the first 3 months of me developing the association. They gave me some tips and tricks of the trade on getting lacrosse, on how to weave around some obstacles, at least socially, down in South Africa. So they've been tremendous help even after they've hung up that NGO.
Well, what you've managed to do so far is quite impressive, like I've said, and we say it time and time again. We just want to grow the game, so I do encourage you to keep it up, and you have my support. Let's kind of move on and take a look back at the inaugural season that you had with the Halifax Thunderbirds. I think one of the goal calls that was my favorite from that season was Pat. He was up in the booth, and you had that twister, and we had that on Lacrosse Flash versus, I think it went pretty far actually. I think it was on Dylan Ward, and quite the goal. What was it like suiting up for the team that season? I think the crowd went absolutely nuts after that goal. But to be on the turf, what was the feeling like? And I should have
Well,
said,
I
you know
mean,
what, to cut you off, sorry, I didn't even say the call was bad and bushy. So sorry for not getting to that point there.
yeah, I mean, I have to give credit to Pat. That was definitely that definitely didn't leave my social circle for at least until it's probably still running around. It gets thrown at me every now and then. I'm just like, oh. But no, it was the fan base in Halifax is just so amazing. I'm still, young in the league. That was only my second season, a shortened season at that. So I've really only had a year and a half in this league. And I mean, Halifax fans are, for me at least, second to none already. Like it's just amazing. We everybody knew it was going to be a sports town, but nobody really knew like how good it would be. And to say that it made our forced stop even harder is an understatement. I think most of us are just really looking back to getting to that floor and playing in front of those people again.
Yeah, did you see this city kind of start to take to the sport of lacrosse a little bit more, and maybe just the Thunderbirds in general, as the season progressed? Because things were off to a hot start there with the exhibition game. I remember seeing pictures. Didn't get the chance to go to any Thunderbirds games, but pictures from that scrimmage at the beginning of the season were absolutely incredible. But I think I did notice, over the first few games, more and more people started coming, and the crowd started to get louder and louder. Was there a point where you felt like, hey, it's really taken off here?
Like to be honest, it was a shocker for everybody, but I will say being like a young guy on that team and like there's guys that are younger than me on that team, but being a 23-year-old and then listening to your vets like, Keo, Jammer and Benny saying, "Hey guys, this isn't normal. Like soak this in. This does not happen for a preseason game." I think it made the younger guys really appreciate it a lot more because some of the younger guys, like Noonsy or something like, are probably like, "Oh yeah, this happens every preseason." Like, no, it doesn't. Like, you got to soak this in. This is really, really something. It's a spectacle right now.
The team had a pretty successful inaugural season, albeit cut short. But what do you think was going right for the club?
Honestly, like it sounds so cliche, and I think every guy who's been interviewed by anybody on our team has said the same thing. But it just is such a point to hammer home is our locker room. Like we're such a tight group of guys. We virtually still like talk every day. Granted, it's probably most people just random jibber jabber and bickering back and forth about other sports and whatnot. But nonetheless, like we still get a good banter going. And I think we just all go to war for each other. And yeah, I think that separates us from a lot of teams because you don't see each other every day like other sports leagues. You only see each other for X amount of time on the weekend. And, to have that chemistry is something really special. I think every team's got their chemistry, but you can sense it when it's a little bit, of a closer bond.
I like to look at things from the other side too, ask the question, what went right for the club? But at the same time, is there anything that you might have been able to kind of clean up in order to kind of ensure success in the future here with the team?
Um, like honestly, no, I don't really. I mean, on my own for my own game, yeah. I think that I'm my hardest critic, and I think that there's even if I have a good shift, I'll always think about a lot of the stuff that I could have done better, and that eats at me. But that's a personal thing. That's a personal problem that I have to get over. But other than that, I think honestly, maybe. looking back, I just wish we celebrated those wins a little more because we didn't get to enjoy a whole season. But honestly, I think that team was perfect from goaltender to like last offensive guy. I think everybody was just on point for most or all of that season. And we bounced back really well after those losses, and we made sure that teams knew that they had to try and beat us. Not it was going to be a walk in the park that night.
It's been tough to kind of, I guess, stay active just given the lockdowns and be around teammates. And I know training is a little bit easier when you are able to kind of get together. But over the course of the past year, how have you been staying active and kind of prepared for whenever the NLL does start up?
I'm one of those, guys in a lucky situation. I still live at home with my family. Honestly, was gonna about to, start thinking about moving out, getting my own apartment, probably downtown Toronto. And looking back, I'm so happy that I didn't. I have a nice home gym here that I've been able to, utilize every day. Going on nice long runs, just really getting my mind and body on the same page, and not really letting go of that. I think a lot of trouble you get into a lot of trouble when you slip away for a month, and even 3 weeks can really do you harm long term. So I've been very good at keeping my body in shape over these past 10 or 12 months, I guess now. So yeah, I mean, I'm not worried. If camp was tomorrow, I think I'd be just fine. But obviously, there's always more to improve on.
Do you feel like a championship is within reach for this club?
Yeah, I think it's very doable. I think if there was a team in the league right now to do it, it's us. I have complete faith in every single one of those guys. Whether guys that are playing a lot, that aren't playing that much. I think everybody's got a job. Everybody does it well, and yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a real goal. I think we should very much be going into training camp before next season, thinking that that is the only end game possible for us.
Win now mode. I have to ask you,
Yeah.
Chris, the number one thing that you're looking forward to in Halifax that doesn't have to do with lacrosse, so it can be anything else.
Seafood chowder.
Okay, I
Easy,
think I think that was an easy choice, wasn't it?
easy.
No, you're not a
Seafood
lobster
chowder.
guy?
I'm a lobster guy,
I
but
guess
honestly, like, I had
that's
never really had
all-encompassing.
seafood chowder like that. We were pre-ordering it on the bus on the way from the airport. We'd have I think it was mostly Haas. Haas would be in the back of the bus taking orders off for everybody, and by the time we got back to the hotel, there would be like uh, 17 seafood chowders just waiting on the on the counter there.
I think we have to wrap this up now because 'cause I'm getting hungry. I don't know. That's just, my mouth watering too. I haven't had the
Yeah.
chance to have it, but I think everyone that I've asked that question to has mentioned that as well, so, it's gotta be good because it's getting some seriously high praise. Chris Bucci, thanks again so much for joining us here on episode 10 of Inside the Nest. It's been great to have you. Really love what you're doing with the South African Lacrosse Association, and, one more time, I'll kind of give you the platform to remind everyone where they can go to donate for this great initiative that you started up.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. It's always a pleasure to be able to share my passion, or my current passion project, I guess I should say right now. It's something I've worked very hard on, and I appreciate the support from everybody, including you guys, especially you guys, giving me the platform to actually get the word out there. You can find links to the GoFundMe at my Twitter page at Boosh_18, and my Instagram in the bio at Chris Bushi. And there'll be some more social media stuff to come with regards to the association, and our website should be up and running in a couple weeks once some more fun announcements get rolling in, which should come, I guess, in before April's over.
Perfect, man. We will look forward to it, and thank you so much once again. That's Chris Bucci, forward for your Halifax Thunderbirds. We want to thank everyone for tuning in here to episode 10 of Inside the Nest. We will be back in 2 weeks, same time, 8 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm getting pretty good at saying that. If you missed the episode or you're just tuning in late and you want to catch up on all we chatted about, you can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts. It will be uploaded very soon. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.